was
loud. Okay.
Too much dead air, right?
Ready? Go.
Go. Hi, welcome to the global Cribl user group with goats this time. Look behind Tony. Anyway, it's August 9th. Welcome to everybody who's coming in. Actually, there are a few new faces and names in here. And a lot of the regulars that, I've seen before. So today we have all kinds of things in plan. I guess we will start out then. Wait, hang on. Let me check something here real quick. No, there's no reply. Okay, so we're good. We will go ahead and start. Nick, if you want to go ahead and start with what you were going to start with. Oh, there you are. You can. You were supposed to be talking about HA and not the haha, but the HA stuff, regions and Edge on Windows, right?
Yeah.
So presentation, or you just gonna chatter for a bit?
We're going to talk for a bit about this. So I could give you there's really just one slide for each thing, but I want to talk about two of the major additions that we had come out in the 3.5 time range from a product perspective. Really, the first one is leader high availability, which some of you may have heard about. That is something that we've been working on with our customers and our cloud team for quite some time. It's something we have rolled out personally in our own cloud. So we have implemented more or less like a hot cold failover for the Cribl Stream Leader in the 3.5 timeframe. This is all built out using a couple of distinct components for your infrastructure. So you have your leader connected via a file system, so like an NFS file system for yourself, as well as a load balancer that is doing active checks. And let me go grab a slide. Since we have some folks here, I have a slide.
Wait a minute, who the hell are you? What do you do at Cribl,
by the way? Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought everybody knew. So everybody.
There's a ton of new people, dude.
That's right. I didn't even, we just kind of jumped right in. So let me introduce myself and then I will get going again in more detail. So my name is Nick Tankersly. I'm a Senior Director of Product Management here at Cribl. I've been here for quite a while. I've kind of been on every product at some point, although we have other product managers that are here today that are coming in to continue to take over our ever-growing product portfolio. We'll talk to some of those a little bit later. We'll talk to some of those folks a little bit later. But that is what I do here at Cribl, and I will be talking a little bit about Leader HA, which I've already started, and then Edge and what we've done with Edge in the 3.5 timeframe. Yeah, thanks.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, Clint. Who's that? Clint? Who is that?
Yeah, that was Clint. Hey, Clint, do you you're on cell phone right now, right? Called in, or are you regular or what?
I am I'm actually at a Chili's, eating a very high quality lunch, and I am listening to the call, and then I will be making my way to a car.
Southwest egg rolls.
I was going to say baby back ribs.
No, I wanted the skillet queso, but I stopped at the airport Chili's in Vegas, and they did not have skillet queso, so I was somewhat disappointed. But I am having a nice old timer. So
Chili's too.
Okay. So whenever you want to go, you can probably interrupt us and do your thing if you want to talk. But
I will sit here and listen, and then we'll play it by ear, Rich.
That sounds great. All right, Nick. Take it away again.
Yeah.
Or continue taking it away.
Yes, give me 1 second here to bring up the slides, because slides is now not wanting to give me what I want.
Technical difficulties abound.
I don't know why this isn't here. I just had this.
I swear this has never happened to me before.
No.
Here we go. I found it. Perfect. All right. So
it's a pony.
There we go. All right, we're up and running. We're getting ourselves together here. So as I mentioned, we introduced Leader High Availability, which is one of those architectural features that we've been asked for. The Leader has been its own solo workhorse for the product for the last couple of years, but now we've introduced a helper out so that if there's ever a situation in which a primary leader fails, or that leader is unable to keep up with the work, then it can fail over to one of many other leaders in that environment. So one of the things that this is my absolutely excellent diagram of how this works out today, or how this works out for leader HA, is that you have a primary leader. That primary leader does all of the work, communicates with the workers, maintains the monitoring page, does all of your notifications. That's what the leader's doing, but you can now connect multiple sub leaders or standby leaders to that leader configuration. And you do that using a network file system. So you essentially map the Cribl volume dir to that network file system, and then you set the failover mode into leader HA, and the first leader that pops up will take over as the primary. The other leaders that join will check the lease on the network file system, and they will join as secondaries. Now, during the course of the life cycle of all of those leaders, they'll all be checking to see if there is a new lease on the network file system. So if a primary ever goes down after 3 checks, which takes approximately 30 seconds, a secondary or standby leader will pick up the lease and become the primary. And we also persist things like metrics and other, we persist things like the system metrics on that file system, so that when a new leader does come into play as the primary, we are persisting the state of the system metrics on that leader. So they'll be able to pick up, communicate with the worker, pick up the configurations, and get moving as the new primary. And it sounds like there's a question already.
I actually just wanted to ask, do you want questions like in the middle of everything, or do you want
We can go. Yeah, let's be fluid.
Okay, so go ahead and grill them good if you got them.
31 people.
All
Anyway,
right.
keep going.
Yeah. So the other component here is that on top of your leaders, you're going to have a load balancer. That load balancer must be able to do health checks. Those health checks will also inform where the requests going to the leader will be directed. So in the case of a primary standby scenario, the primary will report healthy to the load balancer, saying, give me all your traffic, give me what you got. But the secondaries or the standbys will report in an unhealthy or unavailable state, and will only become available or healthy in the event of a failover of the primary leader. So everything sort of switches over. First, the standbys pick up the lease of the leader, and then become the primary. And then after that, the load balancer does its check. And once it figures out where the new primary is, will begin directing all of your traffic and communication to that new primary. So again, as I mentioned, we are using this in our own environments today. This is how we ensure high availability of our leader. And this was released in 3.5, and we have some early customers that have already deployed this and are working with this in their environments at the moment. Any questions? Anything I can help answer here? No? Anybody see this? Like, so, you know, we want to make sure we're solving real world problems out here. Is this something that has come up in your deployments? Is this something that you were necessarily looking for? Is this hitting the mark for us being able to provide the highest reliability, highest available observability pipeline for your data observability needs?
That's right. Raise your hands if that's the case.
There's a little hand. Yeah.
There is, or you could just do it in real life. I don't have this problem, but just fascinated by this stuff. So
Greg Decker.
I know people have asked for it and they need it, because this has been one of the big holes in, you know, the whole HA capabilities. Is like, well, you can handle all of these failures, but what about this one single point of failure?
Yeah, and the leader is really robust. And, you know, typically this has just come into play whenever we're working with customers that, you know, you have to have a mandatory failover scenario in place. You have to have the architecture in place in order to handle this. But, you know, in all, we see very few scenarios where the leader actually does need a failover, but it's always great to have that safety net with you whenever you're working in a production environment. All right.
All right. Moving right along.
Any questions? All right, Greg, what's the ratio of leader nodes? So Matt, what do you mean by ratio of leader? How many leader nodes do you need? I mean, you technically just need one standby. So one primary, one standby, same specs. There's no real ratio of, if you're talking about ratio of worker to leader nodes, That's a different question. If you want to jump in, I'm happy to answer that question in more detail if you have some more. Got it. So the question was if there was an active leader standby ratio. Really, it's 1-to-1. That's really all you need. But you can have as many standby nodes as you like. But 1-to-1 is perfectly acceptable.
There was a question from Clint about they were hoping for a share nothing style of HA. It is something we'll implement soon, seems to be the answer.
So where was that? I shared nothing.
Yeah, that was in the chat.
Oh, I see, from Quinn. Gotcha, Quinn. Yeah, let me know a little bit more about your use case. Let's talk about it in the group here. If you can pop off of mute, it would be great to kind of get out there and see if other folks are experiencing this need.
Yeah, sure. We were just getting ready to put this in, and then the NFS v4 thing popped up. And my customer doesn't have NFS v4. So we were hoping for a way. Originally, we were hoping it would be a share nothing cluster architecture for the leaders, so that we didn't need anything, like NFS v4 replicating across data centers or stuff like that.
Gotcha. So, it's an interesting requirement, but right now, I mean, for replicating the configuration from GitHub and pulling the metrics in, it's absolutely required. It's something that we have not, we discussed a lot of different options here for making this happen, and this was the one that provided the most consistency from an experience perspective and from a reliability perspective when the workers need to communicate, when the customer needs persistent metrics. So we did not get into clustering, but if it's something that pops up, on a recurring basis that we hear a need for, it will definitely revisit the way that we do leader high availability. I mean, this is our first run at it. We expect this to continue to be something we invest in over time.
Yeah, it's a great start. The other hope for the customer was we could have workers in one data center talking to one leader and workers in the other data center talking to the other leader, just because of the latency between data centers. And the network guys don't like the traffic, no matter how small it is. So
Yeah.
Those were really the two driving forces.
Gotcha. So having a multi-leader architecture in place.
Well, we didn't really care if one was the master and one was the slave. It was more being able to read from the slaves, so that well, I don't know if that would help us a whole lot, because now I think about what we're actually coordinating are those collections. So that may not help. So, but that's what they were hoping for.
Gotcha. Okay, it's a solid requirement. As I mentioned, it's one of those things that if you like, we're always available to kind of talk about this in more detail and see if there's something we can do to improve this experience for the customers.
Nick, would you be willing to have a secondary thing with a couple of people who might want to join sometime later this week for just discussing the deeper details of this and some requirements or things that they may want? Just because I don't want to run out of time and spend, 45
not too much time here. There's a couple other questions too. So it sounds like leader HA is a topic that we want to get into. So I'll be at Black Hat for the rest of the week, but let's maybe set up some time to get into details. I mean, we can take this into the community, start a thread there, but then I'd be happy. I'm always happy to meet with customers, meet with users to talk about these features in detail. So definitely something we can take offline and
Perfect.
have some more time with.
Yeah, not that we don't love what you're saying, but there's a lot more to say yet.
Yeah, there
Feel
is.
free to organize it in the user group channel, or we can make a new channel or whatever.
Yeah, I think we'll get started in the user group channel and we'll get it, and then we'll figure out if we want a whole channel for it or what. And
Yeah, I was looking at the other questions too, and I think we're going to get into pretty heavy detail here about what is required for making this happen. So maybe this is its own topic in its own right.
Yeah, I figured people would like it and they wouldn't know about it, but I wasn't quite expecting it to take over the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I will get that started later today or tomorrow morning or something. We'll start figuring something out.
All right.
Or next week, because you're busy.
Yes, be at Black Hat the rest of this week, but we will definitely get something in play for next week. All
So
right.
next up,
is something that a team I've been working with for the last couple of months. So we launched Edge back in March of this year. We've seen some really great early adoption on the Linux side of things, on the Linux Unix side of the world. Lots of folks looking for a better way to manage their edge data collection fleets, as well as new tools for being able to discover what data is out there, be able to teleport into edge nodes and discover files and metrics and really get your bearings before you go into wide scale collection. So that's been running really well. I mean, we've had great early adoption. And so one of our number one asks as we launched Edge was, so when does this come to Windows? Which is always the first thing that happens when you put something out on a Linux platform. There's always the next question of like, okay, that's great, but when do I get my Windows version? So in 3.5, we announced the release of Edge on Windows. Right now, we are doing file system. We are monitoring Windows events from the Windows Events API. You can also pull regular log files and flat files off of the Edge node. So you still have the ability to explore logs that maybe don't get written to the Events API. Not all of them make them there, but you can just use the native Windows Event Collection tools or Windows Event Collection APIs to pull things like security events, application events, audit events, and specific service events that get written out to that API. This is supported on the Windows Server flavors of 2016 and up to 2022. We are planning to do testing and building against the workstations, so the Windows 10s and the Windows 11s of the world. But right now we are focused primarily on getting servers in your data centers up and running with data collection from Edge on Windows servers. And then next in line for Edge, and I don't want to take up too much time because I know we have another product manager here that has some things to talk about for 3.5. We are really going to be focusing heavily on our ability to manage many fleets, many Edge nodes. We scale into the thousands today, and we'll continue to push that scale so that Edge is really an option for customers of all sizes and all requirements for data collection. So those are our Edge. That's our big Edge improvement, and that is where we are. That's where we've been focusing for the last couple of months, and where we plan to continue to focus for the next couple of releases. Has anybody out there been looking at Edge or using Edge? I'd love to hear about that before we move on. No, so there's a question, is Edge limited to the event channels? Not at all. You can pull out, for example, so the question is Edge limited to event channels? Not today. You can get files or you can get data anywhere they exist on the Windows file system, and we are putting in system performance metrics in a future release of the product as well.
Cool, that'll be even fun, more fun.
If people have any feedback on, is it all perfmon metrics? Is it, are there other things that they want us to collect on the Windows side? We are definitely soliciting feedback. And we are far from Windows experts here. So if you guys have input, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I will be in the chat. There's Clint. Hi, Clint.
Howdy.
Howdy. I will be in the chat for the remainder of the time. And then I will hand it over to whomever is next.
Perfect. Next up, I think we have Ryan with integrations that are not flooring.
Cool. Thanks, Rich. Just waiting for Tank. There you go. Thanks, Tank. Taking over.
Yeah, we seem to have fewer controls on who can steal control of the session. I am loath to admit this, but it seems like pretty much anybody could just start displaying.
Yeah, I got the roadblock when I was trying to take over from Tank, so he must have the
He's special.
Demogorgon access or whatever.
Must be.
All right, so I'll get into it. My name is Ryan Conway. I'm the product manager for the integrations team here at Cribl. Super happy to join today. This is my first user group where I get to host. I should have known that 2 weeks ago at our little offsite when Erin Sweeney sat down next to me. I knew it wasn't just to chat over food, but to kind of lure me into a user group, but still happy to join. So I'm joined with a couple folks from our dev team that led some of the development of the items that we're going to discuss today. So feel free to chime in with your questions, and if I can't answer them, and if we need to go a little deep just for a minute, we've got the right folks here to answer those questions. So I'll spend some time on what our charter is on integrations, how we work with customers like you guys, and what our latest features look like. Okay, cool.
Hallo, ich hätte gerne einmal die 290.
290?
Ja.
Noch was dazu?
Thanks, Pack. Thank you.
Sorry, it's back. I had to mute you.
I was just about ready to myself.
So I'm going to start at the highest level and discuss how integrations plays its part within the Cribl environment. So as pretty much everyone knows, our mission at Cribl is to unlock observability data. So whether that's event, metric, trace, log data, we succeed when we allow our customers the ability to see what is happening across their systems and endpoints through their data. And another thread within that observability space, that we focus on a lot is, the power of observability lies in the ability to answer questions that you might not have yet. So rather than just being responsive to your little notification bell or waiting around for an email, observability data just allows you to be proactive. So have the right data in the right place, raise your awareness, and raise that control of your data. So this mission, has truly been led by our flagship product, Cribl Logstream, now Cribl Stream. So allowing folks to route, reduce, transform their data as they need. But this mission really isn't delivered unless we can source that data that customers are interested in, as well as provide avenues, to write that data out to where it needs to go. So in looking at this diagram, we've got a bird's eye view of the Cribl space. At either end, you can see the little gray boxes of sources and destinations. Those are the places where our group integrations come in. We are the faucet of the stream, and the stream is only as strong as the data that we can bring in and write out. I know this image is very linear. I made a comment that we are the start and end of the data journey, but that data journey can be pretty cyclical. A destination can become a source. A data lake, could be housing some data, but you can bring that right back in again. So sorry for the simplification there, but that's it. So our charter within integrations, I see it as in two parts. Number one, we want to expand the data available to our customers. So adding new sources, what we tie into. And number two, we want to be very conscious and mindful of our existing integrations. So rather than just blindly adding new integrations one after another, just to say that we have the biggest catalog, we want to monitor how folks are interacting with those integrations, deepen those experiences, and just make sure that we're focused on how to make our customer lives a lot better. I've heard scenarios in which some customers are taking 30 minutes or hours grooming their data in order to bring it into Cribl. That really strikes a chord with me. That's a problem for us. I want to sit down, get on a call, talk about that use case, see if we can bring in that data, write it out in an easier way than having all these manual steps. So where we are right now, we have over 90 sources, collectors, and destinations that we support within our catalog. This includes the big names that you see on this slide, so Splunk, Windows, Amazon. But we are very conscious of the range of data choices that are out there. So our roadmap is directly driven by our customer needs. If you guys want to bring in data that we don't support right now within our catalog, please let us know within the community Slack channel. That feature request channel, within the product group, we monitor that, on an hourly basis. If something comes up, we want to be right there to respond. Cool. So I will go to the next slide. Sweet. So we don't have time to go through all 90 integrations today, but I can spend some time on the latest features. So recently we just had the major release of 3.5. Within the integration space, we'll talk about today the support for the Parquet format. We'll talk a little bit about the edge to cloud source, expanding our syslog ingest format. And then since the major release, the .0 release, we have been introducing some new destinations within the maintenance release windows, so we can go into that as well. And if anyone has, gifted or received a Nintendo 64, that's the type of excitement that we want when delivering integrations. Cool. So one of those items right at the top of our list for 3.5.0 that we are really proud to deliver was the support for Parquet format. I want to start by kind of asking the audience if anyone is familiar with Parquet. I'm going to open up my chat to see if anyone's
I
chatting.
was just thinking the same thing. I should probably look at the chat and see if there's any. There's a lot of people online.
I think a better question, Ryan, would be: Are people familiar with things like Presto, Athena, Databricks?
Got a couple yeses. Making sure folks are taking a peek.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's
Awesome.
helpful to frame it in products they would use it with rather than the format itself.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Good thinking. Oh, yeah.
Cool. So I'll talk a little bit about what Parquet is. So it is a data type. Up until this point, up until 3.5, we supported data types like raw and JSON. And then Parquet was next up on our list, something that we've heard from customers. Parquet is primarily used for big data use cases. It's a column-based format. It's very performant for querying and can save customers a lot around storage space. So these themes of Parquet being very cost and choice centric, I think really align with our goals here at Cribl. If our customers are making the choice to use Parquet for these advantages, then we want them to continue that journey within their Parquet data. So being able to ingest and write out that data within Parquet, how they need, is really important to us. Sweet. So I was just going to go into a brief demo on how this is configured. I was going to do the configuration live, but as Tank was chipping away at my time, I was kind of coming in here and making my configurations myself.
And Clint still wants to talk too.
Right. Yes, I do want to be mindful of Clint's time as well. So I've got a data generator just pushing some Parquet event data. I'm dragging this within Quick Connect from that source to my S3 bucket that I've already got configured. I'll go into that configuration just briefly. So providing, I've got the ability to name my output, specify the bucket name, the specification on how this is written out is just done within this data format dropdown. So just adding in that Parquet option. When I select Parquet, I'll get this Parquet settings. One thing to note specific to Parquet when we're doing write out is that we are requiring our customers to specify a Parquet schema for that write out. So that has to be known upfront, but we're trying to make it as simple as possible within this UI. So we have out of the box sample schemas that are available. So those are available here. And then some of those other little toggles, little tweaks available include the row group size, the page size. Those can really help with kind of reading these files. So those adjustments were very important within this first release of Parquet. And then the ability to handle data being written out, events that don't match that format. What do we want to do with them? Do we just want to kind of forget about them, or do we want some type of log index within the file to capture those? So that can be toggled right here. So that's some of the configuration setup for the Parquet within the Cribl experience. Let me see, make sure that this is enabled. I'm pumping out 10 events per second. So we should be seeing some of our Parquet data coming through. I've got my S3 bucket here, my Franco testing 2. the Conway August test folder. I'll just dig into that, and we should be able to see a lot of that data being written out. Within this experience, I should have the ability to generate the JSON. And you can see when I run that query that those are being, written out into my S3 via Parquet, and then just using this kind of query results tool, I can see how that's looking within JSON just to verify it within the S3 end.
So Ryan, why wouldn't I just write JSON?
Like I said before, that Parquet format has those unique characteristics that customers are making the choice for. Those large data sets, they can be compressed within Parquet, so it's a little bit more cost effective when you're pushing data out to kind of that data lake or kind of long-term storage.
Yeah, so for everybody else, the Parquet is a columnar format that gives you significant advantages in query speed. So the reason why you would choose Parquet over just writing raw text files is to accelerate the speed of kind of your Athena queries, your Databricks queries, et cetera. So Parquet is very, very popular, and it's also very portable. So as a format, it's open, it works well with Databricks, it works well with Presto, it works well with Hadoop. And so you can get significant query speed advantages by structuring that data in advance. But the downside is that, as Ryan is showing you, because we have to define the schemas in advance, it's a very schema-full format, you do have to do a lot of data prep. So you can't just take arbitrary data and write it. And if the schema of that is going to change a lot, that's also going to be problematic for you.
Exactly. And I do want to highlight just a new user experience within the knowledge area. We introduced the new Parquet section. So these are all our sample Parquet schemas that are available out of the box. So I can click into those and kind of get an idea of what's expected when writing out within these schemas. And then I also have the ability to add my own. If I'm aware of how my Parquet files are set up and I want to define my schema, we provide that open configuration for you guys as well. Sweet, I got a thumbs up. I think that means let's just keep going on. So that highlighting Parquet as something that came out within 3.5. Since the major release, there's been kind of a continuing effort to deliver against our integration goals. Of those, adding new destinations. So we have a new Humio destination that we introduced within the 3.5.1 release that came out July 20th. This is relatively straightforward, but providing a way for our customers within the Humio deployment the ability to get that data in as fast as possible. We've got some notes here that get into the details of what's available, but I will just switch over real quick just to show how that configuration is done. So within Quick Connect, again, I've got my syslog event data generator. I've got that hooked up to my Humio HEC. We can take a look at some of those configurations super quick. So I have the ability to pick between JSON and raw. My authentication in this is, that auth token manually inputted. I've got the ability, just like what we do with a lot of our destinations, is to select how we want to handle back pressure. So relatively straightforward, but just kind of highlighting that the Humio HEC destination is now available. If I go into Humio, of course, I get logged out during my demo.
Of course.
Cool. So I'm within the Humio dashboard. I don't have any of those cool monitoring widgets set up, but you can see just based on the timestamp that I've got those syslog events coming in. Within the Humio space, I've got the raw string, and then based on the source type that is being sent over, in this case syslog, we can parse that data within the raw string across these different fields. So you can see those as I scroll down. Sweet. So I just want to do a quick demo of what that looks like. Again, we want to make these relatively straightforward, but having something to look at, I think, is always great. Any questions on what we did with the Humio destination? So we've got about 10 more minutes. A couple other things to highlight within the maintenance release. Something that's coming out, I believe, in the next 10 days within the 3.5.2 release is our support of the Sentinel-1 dataset destination. Very similar to what we were seeing in Humio, but again, just adding to our catalog of what we can connect to as we can write out. So that dataset integration for write out will be available August 17th.
Ooh, I'll write that down.
Yeah.
I'm hooked now.
Great. So earlier this year, the new Edge product was delivered. In our efforts within integrations to support that new product, we have delivered a new TCP and HTTP stream source and destination. This allows our customers the ability to bring Edge data into stream and not be double charged for that ingest. This is available for all customers, came out within 3.5 release, and it's just kind of promoting that full Cribl experience. So when event data is captured all the way on the edge, being able to bring it into stream and not being incurred that additional ingress cost is really important to us. And then finally, talking about expanding our catalog, our support of syslog data has been good up until a certain point. We've been supporting the non-transparent event format up until the 3.5.0 release. We did not support octet format counting. This was a great example of a customer coming to us and saying, hey, I've got syslog data that's in this octet event format, and I'm spending all this time trying to translate it into this non-transparent event format. And when our team hears about a request like that, we can say, hey, why don't we broaden that syslog data format offering, include octet counting within what we offer, what we can ingest, just to make those folks' lives a little easier. So that came out within 3.5.0 at the end of June. I'm happy to spend time with folks if you guys have any deeper questions on each one of these features or anything else that you've heard that we've released within integrations that isn't on this slide. But in the effort of time, I might end it there.
Lovely. I appreciate that. Not that we weren't enjoying it, but yeah, like I'm glad you're keeping an eye on the time too. Appreciate that quite a bit.
Be sure to hassle Ryan in chat for more details.
Yeah, exactly. Are you on the user group planning thing, or should we just find you in general for something or features? Where would we do we?
I'm all over. So I'm within the community thread. So like I said, specific feature requests, stuff that we don't support right now, you can tag us in that, or just, within those channels that Pi, if you're creating for this user group, we can.
If you add him,
it'll show
there
up
anyway.
Right.
Sure. Just
Exactly.
tag him and you'll have the choice to invite him or whatever. And also update your browser.
Yes, I do. I see that.
Sorry. I'm like, update your browser.
All right. I guess if Clint can speak, we have used up almost all your time. So you have to take your 10-minute thing down into a 5-minute thing and maybe even into like 3 or 4. But
we got plenty.
Yeah, and you'll also get to hear some Bob Seger in the background as
that's
I
right. Look, we have video. Yay!
As I transit my way to the
jacket.
to the. I do have a jacket on. Yes, I'm jacket CEO today.
Very stylish.
I'm in the middle because yesterday I was in proper button down and like suit pants, and then I didn't want my jacket to get all wrinkled, so I wore it today. So now I'm like business casual. So I don't know, but will you even respect me with a coat on? I wonder, maybe I should take it off. It's actually kind of hot in Vegas.
We'll let it pass this time.
Okay, thank you. I hope I can continue to earn your respect even with the suit coat on. Yeah, so originally we said, hey, let's replicate what we had done at CriblCon, and we probably should do a fuller version of this in the next one with a slightly less packed agenda. But I think that the gist is just, good time for a company update, right? And talk about kind of where we are and where we're going. And, it's a great time here. We just announced our full product suite. That's a huge milestone for us. I'm sure you guys have been tracking. We've always had this big product company. And from the very, very early days, oh, shut up. I can see the chat. Very early days, we wanted to be a multi-product company, and we knew that we were going to be able to, we had a hit on our hands with Stream, like when we kind of whittled up the product vision into component pieces and said, hey, do you want something that can route this data, that can transform this data and help you control cost? We knew very quickly that this was a hole in the marketplace, but we had always intended to expand the product to be a full product suite. And part of the reason why we were so opinionated about the suite is because it's 2022 and not 2012 or not 2006. And so as we look at all of the customers in the marketplace, nobody we're talking to has nothing. Everybody has something. They've got a syslog server at a minimum, right? They've got probably some kind of logging solution. They probably have some kind of metric solution. They have data kind of scattered everywhere. And so Edge, we were super excited about, a couple months back and still are. I think it's a core portion of our portfolio. One of the things that makes Edge so cool as part of this broader suite is that Edge to interoperate and work closely with the search product that allows you to search the data at the edge. And the use case is logs.
Oh, we're
Clint,
losing your audio, Clint.
Yeah, you're getting a little maybe unvideo
Application
yourself.
level data. What's that?
You're getting a little choppy there. Try maybe unvideoing yourself for a minute.
I'll unvideo myself. There we go. All right. The getting all full fidelity application data available at the edge to be paired with search. And so Edge also is a forwarding agent. And so it'll help you get the data off of the box, a single agent that does metrics and logs, and at some point application level data tracing eventually as well. And our search product, as we're announcing it, is designed to be a federated tool. So it's the first tool that kind of decouples data storage from data query. And search allows you to search your data in place, no matter where that data is. Is that data in Splunk? Is that data in Elastic? Is that data raw at the edge, or raw in the data lake, or raw in the stream? Search will be coming along to give you the ability to analyze massively greater quantities of data than you can cost effectively do today. And so we're super excited to have announced the full suite. We've been working on this for 4+ years. The core engine that is behind search is actually the same engine that runs stream, the same engine that runs edge. And so we have this kind of core intellectual property that we've been building up over the last couple of years. And then from a company perspective, we just got over 400 employees. So the company is continuing to grow at a massive clip. We are building out our field organization. I just came from New York. I was meeting with a bunch of banks and other kind of local New York customers. It's so great to see this really awesome field sales team that we're putting out, because not just the sales team, but also the sales engineering teams and others. Like these are, scaling our field gives us the ability to help more customers by having more actual humans that you can interoperate with and work with. And so super excited, we're continuing to scale the marketing organization. The community organization here has added, we've more than doubled or tripled the people in product advocacy and the community organization that works closely with all of you guys. This growth is allowing us to continue to fund and bring more awesome people into the Cribl organization, and really continue to perpetuate our customers first attitude, where our goal is to get out and build the best software from first principles that we can. And our purpose is to take IT and technology professionals, from this sucks to fuck yeah. And that's what we do. And so, from a company perspective, we're doing incredibly well. We're super excited about all the new product. You see what was in 3.5, Nick and Ryan showing off some really new features. We have a new release that's going to be out in the fall that has a lot of really awesome stuff in it. We're planning it right now. We're building it. It's just a great time to be here at Cribl, to be a customer, to be a partner, to be a potential employee. It's just, I'm just super excited to get a chance to share all this with you guys. And we're actually gonna, if you're in Vegas, please come to CriblCon on Thursday. We're gonna be here all week at Black Hat and then partially into DEF CON. I'll be here all through the week. If you would like to talk to me, I will be around walking the halls, and I'm always in the community. So if you have any questions about the company, the product, anything else, you can tag me in general. You can tag me in the user group planning, and I am always available for members of our community.
Perfect. Hey, Clint, I actually like that idea of trying to get like a company update from you every 3 to 6 months. I don't want to use up a bunch of your time. And frankly, we're a user group. We don't, whatever. But an occasional one sounds great. So
yeah, well, I mean, like,
and
so I will work with my my EA Stephanie Rich, and we'll get this on the calendar regularly. And I love getting in front of our users, and I'm super passionate about the community. It's been the biggest and best investment we've done, as a company since day one. And everybody knows that I've been working on this since the beginning.
Right. Absolutely. Great. All right. Well, thank you, Clint. So here we come all the way around to 3:50. Our time is nearly up, but I think we may have one last thing in here.
I have 2 things, if it's okay, maybe 3, maybe even 3.
Okay.
So
Sure.
One thing is, if you are planning to go to Black Hat, we are having our party at the House of Blues on Thursday. It's sold out, but I might know some people who could get you in if you just ping me in the community, and I'm Erin Sweeney, so you can just let me know, and we'll find a way to get you in there. That's 1. 2, this is a lot of new folks, so thanks for joining. If anybody wouldn't mind, you could drop it in the chat or just come on mute for a minute. I'd love to know if you just got the email because we tried a new email process, or if you just thought the agenda was interesting, or how come you're here? Feel free to come off mute or throw
And
it.
don't worry about it if you don't want to be put on the spot. You can also, I don't know, let me know, because I'd be happy to relay
in the user group channel. We want to do more of whatever it is that got you to come today.
Right.
And then the third thing is, for folks who are going to reInvent, we will have another CriblCon at reInvent. I think it's the Monday night of reInvent. I don't have that date off the top of my head, but it's like the Monday after US Thanksgiving. And then I think I have one more thing. And that is, even though, as Clint said, we have doubled or tripled the size of our community team, we're very sad that Rachel, our dear community founder, leader, chief hostess, champion, all of the amazingness, this is her last user group as an official Cribbler. She will, or Criblanian, she will always be a Cribbler, even if she is not a Criblanian. So she might still drop in on us from time to time and visit us in the community, but I just would love to say a big old thank you to Rachel for inspiring me across my career multiple times, and just always being a wonderful person to work with and a wonderful champion for the community. So thank you for all that you have done. And if anybody wants to share moderately embarrassing and or heartwarming stories.
I wasn't told there would be story sharing.
The floor is open for just a couple of minutes.
Aw. Oh, well, thank you for saying that. That's really kind of you. And I confirmed this with the person I'm about to mention, but I'm really excited to share that Tony Reinke is going to be joining the community team. So, talk about a level up. I mean, for us. In case I wasn't clear, I was like, wait, that could have been misinterpreted. Words are hard. So
2 bombs in one, X-Pac.
Whoop, whoop.
So
Oh,
yeah, so it's a It's
We're
good.
definitely gonna miss you, and it's too much spare time, Tony. I don't think that's the case.
I know. We're still gonna, maybe we can, much like we're gonna wrangle Clint into doing like every 3 months updates, maybe we'll wrangle Rachel into every 3 months coming back and sharing us wisdom from retirement and what it looks like out there volunteering and doing good in the community.
Right, and
Yeah.
maybe she can just bring her pie glasses to, like,
Yes.
look at us and exactly.
Uh-huh.
Every now and then we need that.
So
I'm
much
not
has
sure
been
Tony will
achieved
do it right.
by just looking at people over my glasses. Well, thank you, everyone. And to be clear, I'm not, the only thing that could be better than working at Cribl is not working at all.
Right.
Which is, I'm not going to another place. I'm just done. So it is definitely not Cribl. It is me. I'm ready to be done.
In fairness, I do think Rachel's retired like 3 or 4 times, and she came out of
Keeps
retirement to come to Cribl.
Yeah.
So
She
I
keeps
mean,
coming back.
Clint talked me into it, and Clint's pretty persuasive. He's
even-
getting to be a good sales guy.
I'll tell you, I keep hearing those words. And,
Aw, he can't talk.
Aw.
He's a robot voice, Clint.
I'm in an
Alas.
elevator. I'm in an elevator.
I don't know. I love elevator
but
sounds.
I
It's
haven't
awesome.
done more.
I will be at the party at the House of Blues for a while. So if you're gonna be there, I would love to see you. And please, I'll stay on the Slack. I'm actually still on there as under my personal account this whole time. So
We
I will
need
be
updates from Port Townsend, so
Pictures
you
of
best
boats,
keep those
yeah.
up. Yep.
many pictures of boats. I can do that.
So goodbye to Rachel, although it's not really I don't know, it's a see you later to Rachel. And a welcome to Tony. Tony, raise your hand and wave. He's the one who's being attacked by goats, by the way, if you haven't followed along.
Woof woot.
We're
so lucky to have
They
you,
make good
Tony.
salespeople. Goats are just nibbling, just nibbling.
Get in the back of his head, nibbled at.
Anyhow, I do believe we need to do some swag, don't we?
The goat father. Yes.
Oh, that's
We have
awesome.
a ton of people in here.
I have 100 I can roll. So
Let's see. Let me redo the screenshot because I
yeah,
think
redo
it
the
changed.
screenshot. There are a lot, but there's also a handful of.
All right, here we go.
Triple
Well, yeah,
Erin.
I'm going to cross out all of the I guess the Criblanians. One. Who else is on here? We does not get. Okay, Tank doesn't get any. UVL 3.
I'm gonna turn off my background.
All right, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 19, 20, 21, 22.
22. All right.
So give a D30.
I will. No, I don't. So I will just use 100, and we will do. That's too big.
Whoa,
That's
it's
too
dark
big.
over there.
Oh yeah. This is. Let's see. That's nice. That's too big. What is, man? I've got to remember these dice. This is a good set.
Yeah, you're using up all the good rolls.
I'll tell you. Oh, here we go. Number 2.
Number 2, that is Erin. And I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. Os?
No one gets it right the first time. It's Os.
Os. Okay. So PM me on the community chat with your shirt size and your mailing address, and I will make sure you get a package.
And
Will
thank
do.
you for using up all the good rolls on this set of dice. I'll make sure my D&D players use them.
All right, let's do one more.
Okay, one more. Oh, 17.
17. That is
This guy.
Quinn Stevenson.
Woohoo.
So
Oh wow.
Quinn Stevenson, you will also receive a package if you DM me with your shirt size and your mailing address.
Will do. Thank you.
You better do it before the end of the month, or no presents for you. Cool.
All right, that's 20-ish days. It's fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. All right.
Excellent. So we are looking for people to talk about whatever floats their boat, well, within reason anyway, next month. So feel free to ping me or just throw it out there in the user group planning one. if you'd be willing to talk, we can do things like a half hour. We could do things shorter. If you've got 10 minutes you want to spend on something, we can try to meld you in with some other things too. So that's totally fine. Because I really don't want to listen to a bunch of Cribl people talk again, you know, like it's great, but let's do, you know, our own thing for more. All righty. Other than that,
Right, we want the Cribl people to talk less and listen more.
Right. Although I found this really useful. I think maybe that whole quarterly or once a half or so, just catching up like this. Like what new things have you guys put out there and why would we care?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the other thing. It's like, oh yeah, Parquet, y'all don't know, but that's what S3 can use, you know, things like that. You know, and then everybody goes, wait, now I make the connection and why I should care. So especially with a company like this, it's so driven by the users' wants and desires and requests. You know, it's like, well, no, people were asking for that. You just don't realize it connects to this thing that you do. Sorry, I'm out of scope here. You know, that it connects to this other thing that you do use. And oh, I see. Yeah. So I think it was really useful. Also, feel free to ping me either directly or on the channel and feedback on the whole thing. What do you want to see? What do you not want to see any more of? You know, things like that. Should I smile more? Should I smile less? I couldn't tell you. Should I grow my hair out again? I don't know. I gave up on it. It's just too much work.
You should do this. You should grow one of these, you know.
I had it like an inch long and then I gotta comb it now. And shampoo suddenly started disappearing. I could go years with one little bottle and then suddenly I'm using it all up. It's just too much stress.
It's too much stress.
It's a lot. So got the clippers out and again, and there we go. Now we're good. What have I done to myself? This camera is weird.
Yeah, you now have handprints on your head. What happened?
Anyhow, well, thank you all for attending. We really did appreciate it. Hope you didn't get too bored anywhere in there. I have some notes. I will be pinging a few things in the user group planning channel to get some stuff started and to clarify a few things. Other than that, we'll see you all in approximately 1 month.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks all.
Rachel.